have to. I just think we have to take a winning stance and say, hey, this is a war we're going to win. And it is a war. It's a war, us against the people who are trying to take over the world, trying to become the world order. All that stuff has to be stopped.
In my gut, I know they're going to fail. Tyranny always fails, no matter how scientific or well-organized. And I see fear. Just 5-6 years ago, I saw arrogance and aplomb in their eyes. Now I see the elite with a look of desperate fear, so they're squeezing even tighter, and I think that's going to be their downfall. Do you feel in your spirit and your gut that humanity and goodness is going to win out in the end?
Yes, I do, and that's I was raised believing that, and I've never stopped believing it. That one day there will be peace on earth, and whether we'll live to see it or not, I don't know. But we have to be a part of it one way or another. We have to be a part of causing it or stopping it. One.
Willie, did you always have such a great attitude about life? I mean, and there's a lot of people that have the kind of a fake positive attitude, and that's still better than nothing, but you really, meeting you in person as well, radiate peace. I mean, were you born with that, or did that develop?
No, I probably would have been the last guy in Abbott to have been thought to be a peace advocate, because if we wasn't fighting bumblebees, we was fighting each other down there. So it wasn't exactly that I was total peace guy. But through the years, my grandmother used to say a hard head makes a sore ass. So I found that to be true.
Your grandparents were amazing people, weren't they?
Yes, they were. My granddad was a blacksmith, and for my early years, I grew up in the blacksmith shop with him, watching him shoe horses and make sweeps and plows, and helping out the farmers and ranchers in the area. And he was a well-loved, well-respected guy in Abbott, Texas.
Yeah, for folks that don't live in that part of Texas, you've got those ground-burrowing bumblebees that are vicious.
Them little bitty black suckers, they come right at you.
No, I've been out shredding before on the summers I worked on the family ranch, and those suckers, when you go over their burrows, they come after you.
Oh, they will. And, we used to go out on Sunday afternoons and make our old paddles, wooden paddles, and fight bumblebees. And I'd come home with both eyes swollen shut.
I never did that, but my dad told me the story of ping pong paddles. They were so bored out in the countries, they'd fight them with ping pong paddles.
That's right, and we bore holes in those ping pong paddles so we could get some wind in there.
Man, it's weird being from the same neck of the woods. Unique cultural perspective there. Speaking of history and culture, I think it's very important historically, so they can't rehabilitate Bush and the neocons after they're long gone, that we try to impeach him now, that we don't just let him fade away, that we expose who he is. Historically, how would you like Dick Cheney, George Bush, and the neocons to be remembered, A, and B, do you support impeachment?
Well, yes, I do, and our old buddy Dennis Kucinich had it on the table there, and it seemed like everybody took it off the table, but it's still, if you break the law, you ought to have to pay for it one way or another, and if these guys haven't broke the law, nobody has.
Willie, I'm not the best guy in the world. I've been pretty worldly myself in the past, but when I do bad, I feel guilty about it, obsessively. When I do good, I feel good, and my life's happy. I believe in karma, reap what you sow, whatever you want to call it. I wonder what it's like to be George Bush or Dick Cheney or Henry Kissinger or David Rockefeller.
Well, of course, you mentioned four names, and you got four different people, so they each one probably have different places they're coming from. And I really do believe that George Bush believes he's right. I think he really believes what he's saying, and that makes it even more pathetic, I guess, because to have someone that wrong and think they're right, and have him to be the leader of our country, that's a scary thought. So I just think he's been the victim of a whole lot of bad advice, and I find it hard to blame the guy. I almost feel sorry for the guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Yeah, 10 years ago I would hate all these people, but now I almost feel sad for them because they're missing out on so many things, and I've studied how the global elite, the Bilderberg Group, manipulates presidents, and you're right, what you just said, from my study at least, from my perspective, that these presidents, they handle them, they manipulate them. They also like to look for people that are unstable, like Bush, like Nixon.
Yeah, and they find them, and they groom them, and they put them in office, and they stay there, and they do exactly what they're supposed to do. You give them speeches with small words and big letters, and let them go.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, Alex, so Willie, you know, all you people that were against the war, you turned out to be right about no WMDs and it being about oil and expanding wars. But I don't even, like, feel good at the end of the day that we've been proven right. It's sad that they didn't listen to begin with. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah, you know that a lot of time has been wasted, a lot of lives lost, and a lot of things that could have been done earlier that's too late to do now, but something has to be done now. You just can't say, well, we waited too long. We waited a long time, but I don't think it's ever too long. I think it's time to do something now.
Last time you were on, you said you're worried about Bush trying to stay in office, or at least the cabal that controls him trying to stay in office in some type of staged event. Flesh that out specifically. I mean, what can you imagine seeing their past action staging terror? What could you imagine? Would it be a biological release, another planes flying into buildings? I mean, what are your specific concerns?
Well, it could be anything, and anything will work because they have everyone scared to death. I just think that there are people out there who will do anything to stay in power, to do anything to keep what they have. They've already proven they'll do anything to keep it. And what to do about it, I don't know. You know, we just have to realize that those people exist and have to figure out a way to undo what they're trying to do.
Speaking of undoing what they're trying to do, I know they approached you to name a big toll road after you, taking existing roads, building new roads, putting them in. They now admit that's to fund the North American Union. Can you speak about toll roads specifically and why you told the state of Texas, don't name that toll road after me?
Well, first of all, I don't like toll roads. I mean, I wouldn't like for a guy to drive up on the Willie Nelson Road and have to spend his last dollar getting from point A to point B. I don't like that. I mean, I didn't want a toll road named after me. That's ridiculous. You know, I'd rather have an electric chair, I think, named after.
When they first approached you, I mean, did you ever even consider it?
I thought about it, and then I got some feedback from different people about what the toll road really was going to be and where it was going to go, and people who hadn't paid anything yesterday, tomorrow was going to have to pay to get on that same road, and it just didn't seem right. And it still doesn't seem right.
Did a fella named Jimmy call you up and tell you might want to think about it? One of my friends, Jimmy, who knows you, Jimmy Vaughn, I'm not even supposed to tell the story on air, said that you were already considering not doing it, and he called you up and said, yeah, that's like naming something really bad after you. You said, yeah, that's like the electric chair. That's the story he told me. There is just so much going on out there. Plus, Willie, didn't we already pay for these toll roads? Oh, his cell phone cut out. They're driving down the road and coming out of New Mexico into West Texas, and notoriously bad cell phones out there. That's what I've been worried about. You have that backup number, don't you?